Kamala's selling out her friends to sell her new book, and there's no coming back from this. Kamala's going after the First Lady, Jill Biden. Remember when Jill kissed Doug at the State of the Union? Well, the doctor pulled Doug aside on the 4th. Doug thought he was getting another kiss. Instead, he got threatened. Jill Biden said, "Are you supporting us?" Doug responded, of course, we're supporting you." Okay, that's really important. We need to know that. Doug got angry, and you won't like him very much when he's angry. He complained to his wife, quote, "They hide you away for 4 years, give you impossible bleep jobs, don't correct the record when those tasks are mischaracterized, and still they have to ask if we're loyal." Kamala regrets not throwing Biden under her electric bus earlier. She said this moment was like pulling the pin on a hand grenade. Watch.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Kamala tried being graceful, and it killed her campaign. Biden, he was bitter. He threatened Kamala on the night of her debate. And then the day after, put on a Trump hat. Kamala says MAGA Joe's ego really hurt her. She needed somebody in her corner, but her VP was a huge disappointment. Kamala watched Tampon nod along with Vance at the VP debate and was yelling at her TV screen, "You're not here to make friends with the guy who's attacking your running mate." We know Tampon wasn't her first pick. She wanted Mayor Pete, but thought he was too gay. Pete read the book, and he's not happy with Mamala.
I was surprised when I read that. I just believe in giving Americans more credit than that. My experience in politics has been that the way that you earn trust with voters is based mostly on what they think you're going to do for their lives, not on categories.
Kamala had her eye on Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, too, but thought he'd steal the spotlight from her and thought he was too cocky. Shapiro kept asking his aides about how he should redecorate the VP's residence. And he's not happy with Harris either. Shapiro says Kamala was part of the cover-up.
Look, I haven't read the former vice president's book, and she's going to have to answer to how she was in the room and yet never said anything publicly.
Kamala tried calling Newsom too, but he sent her to voicemail. Quote, "Hiking. We'll call back," wrote the former vice president in her notes from her calls that day. Never called her back. Newsom's smart enough not to jump on a sinking ship. Waltz, the perfect sucker for the job. At least he got cupcakes for election night that had to be redecorated as the results rolled in. Quote, "Harris's social secretary peeled icing that read Madam President off the cupcakes that had been ordered for the occasion and sent them out to the campaign staffers along with wine." Trump called Kamala after she conceded. Turns out the dictator wasn't so mean. Quote, "I'm going to be so nice and respectful. You are a tough, smart customer, and I say that with great respect. And you also have a beautiful name. I got use out of that name. It's Kamala." Democrats are in deep. Their last nominees on a book tour trashing the party, and the bench is full of commies and crazies. Right now, the betting markets have Hunter ahead of Crooked, Beto, and Bernie. He's the only Democrat that can blow through $2 billion quicker than Kamala. Former Speaker of the House, K-Mac. So this book is a barn burner. She must have gotten paid a lot of money.
You can't make this up. But, okay, let me translate to really what she's saying, okay? First of all, the book means she's trying to blame everybody else for a very poor candidate, but it means she probably wants to run again. When she talks about Mayor Pete, remember, Kamala's from San Francisco. Kamala was elected from San Francisco, but she judges Pete because of his sexuality? Does she really believe in equality? And then let's think about this. She goes after Shapiro, so what that tells you is she's afraid Shapiro's going to run because she knows he's a much better candidate, and he would have done better had he been on the ticket. Waltz was the worst person you could pick. She didn't even like him, but it was the only person that would not outshine her, so he got to get on the ticket.
So you're saying that she's not running next time because she's got no friends left? She
wants to run. She wants to run, but she can't. That is the loser train. Everything tied to that last administration. And Shapiro's right. She was in the room where it happened. She knew what the mind capacity of Biden. She would attack me. I remember in New York, I came out and said, and she would attack me left and right. Every time I was honest with my meetings about Biden, she would say I was a liar. She would come after us. And now she wants to come back and blame Biden because he was still running. She was covering it up the whole time.
How can you trust this woman? I mean, she was the vice president and she was a candidate, and then she just destroyed everybody in her orbit. She criticized Binder, Shapiro, Waltz, Biden, Buttigieg.
That's her.
I mean,
that's her strategy.
That's
but she
the-
was
that's a
in charge of
strategy?
the border. Yes, she was in charge of the border, and she said it was secure. And then when even Lester Holt with NBC asked her, why has she not been at the border? She said, well, I haven't been to Europe either. And that laugh that goes off. Look, she wants to be able to run again. She wants to try to make money. The one thing we're finding in capitalism, they would go after Trump and everybody in that administration. You could not hire those people. People forget about that when you left the last administration. But capitalism, no one wants to pay to hear these people. And so this is her only way to make money, but she criticizes her own ticket. While she's doing this, AOC and Mamdani, the socialist wing of the party, is rising up. And they could really be the nominee. One would be a mayor of New York, and Schumer's sitting there worried about AOC. She's going around Schumer and going to become the nominee for president for the Democrats.
Does AOC have a real shot at the nomination in 2028?
She really does. For this reason, she inherits everything of Bernie Sanders. And remember, had the Democrats not cheated, Bernie Sanders would have been the nominee both times. They cheated him both times. So what's going to happen? She inherits that part. She'll get a little more of the young people. I don't think she probably gets there all the way. But if the Democrats get an ability to win, she's going to be negotiating and be part of that ticket or that administration. You watch.
Ooh.
This is what she's trying
She's
to
going to have
do.
some sharp elbows at the convention. That convention is going to be fun to watch. And we'll be
Could you
there.
imagine that
And
convention?
McCarthy will be there, and
Yeah.
Fox will be there, and it'll be a grand old time. All
We'll
right.
report together.
That's right.
I'll translate all the true meanings of what they're saying.
All right. We'll have you on set. Thank you. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.